was thinking I would do it myself. I had a whole plan written out and everything. But I'm kind of like you in that I love the freedom that I don't need to sell an animal.
You know what I mean? Not many breeders would actually try and put those 3 projects on the ground in the same year to raise up, because they have to make sales.
Howdy folks, Brian Cusco here at the Redline Report, and we are going to sit down today with Aubrey Pruitt of A&B Exotics and talk about some of the projects he's working with reticulated pythons, and just kind of how his mindset is. And it's different than a lot of other breeders out there, I would say. That's my opinion. You can listen to what Aubrey has to say about his process and how he does things and make that decision for yourself. But let's take a look together. You're watching the Redline Report.
So how you been, buddy? It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it has been a hot minute, man. I mean,
we've been talking about doing it for a while. Glad to finally get on here.
Yeah.
What a show. This is going to be a really memorable show, man. Some cool stuff. The albino anacondas.
Yeah.
I met Ty Park for the first time in person. Really cool dude.
Oh, absolutely.
Getting to hang out with Kevin. And, it's going to be a good time, man, in general. It's been a great show.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a good time. I mean, how long have you been coming to the show?
2013 maybe was the first time that I actually was behind a booth here.
Okay.
And then I haven't been that many times, maybe 10 times total, something like that. But
that's plenty of time.
It's a great atmosphere, though.
Yeah.
Wonderful show.
It is the best
for sure.
What started your journey in keeping exotic animals, reptiles, retics? Like, did it start with retics? Where'd you get your start in?
No, it
animals?
started with red-tailed boas. Red-tailed boas, smaller monitors, stuff like that. Young kid, like really young, before I can even hardly remember. Back when we kept everything in aquariums and that whole routine. But I got into my first retics around 2002 is when I started buying high-end retics for the first time in an attempt to want to be a breeder. I don't know, retics just grabbed me. I don't know what it is. Just something about the species. If they only got 4 foot, I don't even think people would keep ball pythons, to be honest. They're just amazing. Their personality, the way they behave, the way they act, the feed response. It just, I don't know, it just does something to you as a keeper. Yeah.
Do you only keep mainlands? You work with super?
A little bit of everything. I'll be the first to admit I am not a good super dwarf breeder. I have tried a couple times and really flopped. I've only made one clutch, and it was the big one. It was the one I really needed the most for that project. I bred a pure endo-caramel Ocelot to a wild-caught Kalatoa female, and did make some 50%, 100% double heads. Wow. So that's a big project. Super excited about that. Real long-term thing.
Now, you're talking about like the personality of retics and stuff, and like just loving it. Like specifically what you said that triggered my brain was like if they only got 4 feet, then no, we keep all pythons. And like, so my question is like, if the snake's not super big, so you're not just working with mainlands, you work with super dwarfs, but had not success breeding them. Like, does the size of the snake make a difference to you?
I enjoy all of them. Honestly, I like them all. I tend to like the personality type a little bit more of the mainland. Everybody's afraid of the size, but they're just a little more laid back, unless they're they're a lot easier to handle, in my opinion, honestly. Like a real fired up 11-foot pure super dwarf female is tougher than a 14 or 15-foot mainland. Just the way they move and their musculature is a lot different.
Sure. I'm sorry, I might get that right.
I'm sorry,
in your mouth.
my bad. I mumble. I tend to mumble.
No, it's all good. These mics are very quiet, which is great because it doesn't pick up background noise. It means you have it right on top of it.
Fair enough.
So cool. So I know you have the Ocelot project. Is like.
I'm pretty deep into that one. Yeah.
Big one.
Yeah. I kind of fell into that project. I don't know how deep you want to go into it, but I'd
love to know everything about it.
All right. So there was an original wild-caught male in Central Java, and he was the wild-caught rainbow. Michael Cole named the animal. He was working really closely with the Prestazzi farm over in Indo. And they got the male, acclimated it, and bred it twice to a pure super dwarf female, but none of those came over here. Just the second breeding to a F1 orange glow. They originated the endo-caramel gene, so they had all the F1 orange glow animals that they produced first and all that kind of stuff. So they bred the male to that, and there were 100% double heads offered for sale, but a lot of people were scared of the project because it has a real hybrid-esque kind of look to it. The head stamp on it looks like a bat eater or a jungle retic. So a lot of the big name breeders were a little worried about it. They didn't think it was going to prove out as a real gene. And the hets actually sat around, ironically, for the better part of a year before they sold. I was able to get one pair right away, and then over that course of the year from Michael Cole, I picked up the rest of them. And out of the 6 original pairs that came into the country, I got 4 of them. It was a gamble at the time because they were just normal-looking retics. They had a little bit of marker to them, but nothing outstanding to make it obvious. So I just lucked out, honestly. So
It's wild that it's a cool looking snake. Like,
it's wild.
It's really wild looking. I honestly didn't even realize it was recessive. That's even crazier.
It's really, really neat. It being recessive is why it's taken so long to really put any morph combos on the market. I just at this show sold the first Indo Caramel that I released. Great show, by the way, as far as sales went. It seems like everything's picking back up pretty good right now. But yeah, so I brought in all those hets. Back to that, I brought in all those double hets, and some of them were het white, and some of them were het caramel. And I lucked into. That's what I meant by lucked out into the caramel side of it.
Oh gosh, I think I misheard something wrong. I thought I was hearing you say that Ocelot was recessive.
It is recessive.
Oh, it is. Okay,
yes.
okay, good.
But the original hets came in from an orange glow female, so they were all also either het for white albino or caramel albino. And the ones that Prehistoric Pets ended up with, for what I understand, all proved out het white, and so did the one that Samson ended up with from Eric Keister's clutch. They made white. So I was the only one that really ended up with F1 breeder het caramels, and that's kind of what gave me my push forward in the project, really.
Gotcha. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it turned out phenomenal.
Yeah.
Such a neat 2-gene combo. I'm a little worried about when we start stacking extra genes on top of that. I've been pretty open about it. I think that that Indo Caramel to me is, as a breeder, I'll jokingly call it my spirit animal. Like, that's what I've been trying to make for 20 years, and I didn't know it. But it's like when it hatches and you see it, it's like that's my favorite particular morph I've ever seen. And other stuff will maybe equally as cool, but it'll never hold a place in like my whatever, like the original caramel. It's just a phenomenal combo.
Indo Caramel Ocelot.
Yes, pure Indo Caramel Ocelot. Right.
Nice. Yeah, there's something about that. Oh man, there's the amount of thickness in the lines around the saddles.
Well, what's neat is people ask me all the time, how are ocelots going to hold their value? You know, they always want to speculate because they're really high dollar animals still at this point, and people have a financial concern along with the project as they buy into it. And it's going to follow the same trend I think that Pied did. You know, Pied, real pretty, high white, white-nosed, white-headed Pieds held their value for a really long time. People talk about the way it crashed, but it's like, man, it was here for a long time. And a lot of animals got sold. Of course it's going to come down. But the really pretty ones are still commanding pretty good money. You know what I mean? So, and I think it'll follow the same trend with Ocelot as a recessive gene. That they're going to get graded like artwork. There'll be a clutch where some of them might be considerably higher, higher value depending on how high the silver is and how the pattern is. And it's a really variable gene. So much like the Pied. So
You do this as is it a hobby? Is this a business or is it a hobby for you?
Well, I'm pretty much a full-time electrician, and I don't ever want to just rely on reptile money. I want to always maintain my ability to say no on a sale. I don't want to have to feel like I need to sell somebody an animal, and I can get by without selling any retics. So it's a very profitable hobby at this point, but it's a hobby.
Okay,
It is
cool.
a hobby.
I like that. There's a certain. I think that you're right about that. When you do have to sell animals to pay the bills, I think that a lot of things can go out the window.
At the end of the day, if the only way you pay your power bill is by selling animals, you don't really have much of a choice but to sell animals. And I love to maintain the ability to tell somebody that I don't think it's a good home for you or something like that.
Yeah,
and
that's something I think that people should think about a lot. I appreciate people who are to make a business out of it.
Yeah,
And
I appreciate it, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
I think it's cool that people are able to do that. And
course.
I've even at one point was thinking I would do it myself. I had a whole plan written out and everything. But I'm kind of like you in that I love the freedom that I don't need to sell an animal.
You know what I mean? If I go months without a sale, it sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I move on, and I'm still sweating, cutting panels in.
Right.
It is what it is. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, where do you want to go next?
I'm actually, believe it or not, I've kind of tired myself out a little bit. I've pushed some projects pretty hard and that kind of stuff, and I've found a close guy who I've been kind of teaching the ropes and teaching how to breed and that kind of stuff. And he's actually running with a lot of my projects right now. Cody Allen from A&B Exotics, and he's lives real close to me, so I can stay around it and keep an eye on everything. But I'm stepping back quite a bit, man. I've got a 4-year-old, and I'm looking more forward to just enjoying a lot of the animals that I've made and hanging out with them and spending time with them. I'm planning on doing some bigger walk-in cages and that kind of stuff. I've shrunk believe it or not, I've shrunk down quite a bit in the past 2 years. And I've even cut back on the monitors that I'm keeping. But I am semi-retirement, so it's not going to be a full term. I'm not getting out by any means. What I'm doing is I'm gearing towards really hard projects. So I've made Ocelot to a blue hypo tiger. Wow. And it's a Ocelot het caramel, so half of them are going to be het caramel. So it's, I got a triple het caramel hypo Ocelot project. I have triple het pied Ocelot albino stuff and orange glow stuff, and I've got the triple het anthrax pure caramel Ocelot stuff that I'm raising up. So I'm kind of just stepping back, and I'm going to enjoy raising up animals, but I won't personally make many breedings for the next 2 or 3 years until those raise up. But that's where I want to go, though. Nice. The future of selective breeding is going to be a bunch of really nice triple recessives. Yeah, I'm sure of it.
I'm glad you said blue hypo, because every time I look at the Ocelot, when I was thinking about, like, as we're sitting here talking, what's going to come up, like, I feel like blue hypo. And the silver blue size the Ocelot already has.
To me, hypo has shown to pair best with darker animals.
Yes.
And I think that it's going to pair really, really well with the anery type look of the Ocelot. I think it's going to go well. So I'm excited. I'm real excited about that project. Yeah. I'm just as excited, to be honest, about making a pure Indo caramel hypo. You know what I mean? And we'll make those as fall off in the same clutches. So, and there's tiger in it as well.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy project. Like, to be able to put that together, those animals together, and raise those hets up is really cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm blessed with Retic genetics for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a smart move to be able to have your fall off stuff be awesome.
So what I'm really doing is I'm looking at the long term. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not worried about making clutches now. I could pump out tons of Ocelots right now, but I've been holding back for years because it's not good for the project. It's just not that good. So I don't really sell past that stuff. Like, I've done my best to protect the value of the project as it goes.
And not relying on animal sales to pay your bills has allowed you that freedom to protect the project like you do.
Well, it also allows me to make breedings that other breeders wouldn't do. You know what I mean? It's like, not many breeders would actually try and put those 3 projects on the ground in the same year to raise up, because they have to make sales. You know what I mean? It's like, but I can, offer a pair of those up and let them go. And if somebody buys them, great. If not, whatever. We'll raise up our stuff and do what we're doing. I've always bred for myself. Like, I breed for what I want to make, and then whatever I sell is basically the higher end fall off from the clutches. So it's a different angle when it's your full job. You know what I mean? You have to breed stuff that you can sell and move and that kind of stuff. And I couldn't keep nearly the collection I do. If I don't sell anything, it's like I got a pretty big collection, and it's a lot. It's a lot to take on. And my wife Brittany would be pretty upset if I was all coming out of pocket. So I do need to generate some sales here and there, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't have to, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on all that, man.
I appreciate it.
Working on awesome projects, having the mindset of knowing where you're at, having your kid, making that a priority.
Priorities, man. Yeah, I can't miss those years with them. So I'm stepping back. I'm still keeping a large amount of animals, but I'm just not going to be making as many personal breedings myself. So I'll still have my hands in all of it. But like I said, I'm just gearing up for another push in about 2 years when the Bacan head Ocelots are coming up. And those are still pretty well ground floor, so I'm dying to see an emerald Ocelot. That's like one of my biggest projects that I'm excited about doing. That's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, that was a trip to see that come to say. I was in Indo 2018 or whatever it was, and at the show there in that big
You
mall.
saw some of the Emeraldas
Super
over there?
pecan.
Yeah, man. So what's cool about the Super Pecan, I don't know how much time we have. Is it okay to ramble a little bit?
Yeah.
So the Super Pecan, what's really cool about it is it shows every gene you mix into it. You know what I mean? It's not like a Super Phantom that buries everything. It's like you can literally see, and the combos, like the platinum stuff they've been making over there, I think they call them karmas, are wonderful. It's really, really cool. I'm so happy that genetics are in the country. It's gonna be a long project because I took a beating on that one early on. That female gave me a full run for my money trying to unlock that Rubik's Cube. I failed once when she was about 4 years old, like right around the perfect time to breed a first time Retic female, and she slugged out on me. I was a little bit greedy. I had a feeling that it was going to prove compatible, and I was saying that it looked like Platinum Phantom, looked a lot like the Orange Ghost Stripe family, and a lot of people predicted that it was going to be compatible, and it ended up proving out. In Indo, they did it, but I tried to use like a 9-month-old male that just wasn't quite ready, cow, to breed to her, and it got all slugs. She laid a big giant pile of slugs, like 40. So
that's never fun.
And her being like her importance, being the only one known in the country before the ban, the importance of that was just really weighed on me. You know what I mean? It's like I really wanted to get that gene secured in the country. And finally, when she was 8 years old, like 8.5 years old, we pulled a good clutch on her. We took her back really slow after that breeding. I wanted to be real careful with her, give her plenty of time to recover, gave her a full year off, didn't even try again. And then that year when I wanted to breed her, she didn't even go, didn't cycle. And then finally we got a clutch. We got 51 eggs from her. And it was to an Ocelot male. So got that one on the ground pretty securely.
Sick, dude.
Yeah.
Man, patience. You got to have it.
Man, that was tough. Yeah, she definitely threw me for a loop, but finally, it was more rewarding at the same time. I guess more rewarding. My wife is pretty personally attached to that animal. She did a lot of the care and maintenance with her when she was younger. She was a handful when she came in. She acted like more like a scrub python, like a young defensive scrub python where they sit there with their neck and like follow you around like a cobra. Like she acted just like that until she was about 12, 13 feet. And then she's calm now. She's pretty good. Yeah, she's manageable. But she ended up, they're big genetics. She ended up solid 17 foot, and she's heavy bodied. She's a big animal.
Nice.
So it's pretty neat.
That's cool. Well, shoot, man. If people want to follow along with what you're doing, where can they do that?
We are on Instagram, A.B. Exotics official, I believe. But if you just like search in A&B Exotics, you'll find us. And on Facebook. That's pretty much where we are.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have time for much more platform stuff, honestly.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know how y'all can keep up with it.
It's a lot of work, but you have to just like
it's
with
impressive.
breeding and the patience, you have to enjoy doing it. I love making videos. I love talking to folks and recording this stuff and putting it out there for other people to see. So it's a love thing,
Well, we appreciate it, man. You do a great job with everything.
Thanks,
awesome.
Man.
Yeah. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, Aubrey.
All right, bud.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a comment down below and go check out all the links for Aubrey's stuff if you want to follow those cool projects he's working on, the long-term projects. And man, just really been enjoying bringing these videos back. Just really been enjoying bringing these videos back to you guys. So thank you guys for following along, and we'll just continue to bring awesome interviews. And we will at some point have tips and tricks videos coming out for you too. Maybe we've been peppering them in over the months. Maybe we haven't. I don't know yet because I recorded this we recorded this video however long ago, and it's coming out now. So we'll see you back here next week, Tuesday, on Redline Report. Until then, y'all take care. Nicely done, dude. You got a great voice for these mics, dude. I'll tell you what. Stick those headphones on. It'll drown them out. You just listen to the sound of my voice. Don't pay any attention to Kevin McCurley. He's not here.
Fair enough.
Dude, so, yeah, I mean, there's nothing. Is there anything you don't want to talk about that you don't want me to bring up? Because I won't if you don't want me to.
I'd prefer not to talk about my whole brother situation.
Okay.
All that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you want to touch on it, it's whatever.
No, I don't need to. If you don't want to talk about it, we will not talk about it.
I'm just so over it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, have you like talked about it on the video before? It's just mostly online stuff, like having to like.
Just online stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not much.
That's cool. Yeah, we'll stay away from that.